Welcome back to the Dota 2 Asian Championship. This is the playoffs. We're powered by Discord Esports, and we have the third game of Navi versus EG. Now,
EG scored.
EG scored, yeah, they actually are scoring right now. We talked about the first game of Navi, and they went with a draft that we all hailed as very, very good. It had everything they needed. Second draft, more experimental, if you want to call it that way. EG, on the other hand, they kind of went the other way around. The first draft was a little bit all over the place. The second one had a better plan. What do we expect to see from Navi? Are we going to see something different to try to surprise EG, or are we going to see the back to basics kind of thing?
I think it's going to be a bit different. I think the Tinker Pig caught them a bit by surprise, just as a hero that they probably have never really had to verse before, and it was definitely kind of the key here in a lot of ways. Not so much because of how it was played, just more the fact that it was a Tinker. So I think Navi less likely to be caught up by surprise this game, and the support Warlock, obviously, we've gone over it again and again, and it just didn't work.
Okay, let's go to the draft right now, and let's see what surprises EG has for us. As for Navi, there's a Wisp.
No Chen this game. So game 1 was the Go Black Chen. Game 2 we got the AUI Chen. This time around, no Chen at all.
Good news for Hovos, like having this support with his carry.
He really likes it.
Yeah, it's very good news.
It is, however, one of the...
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, it's not a great hero for Troll in particular, because Troll has naturally high attack speed, so Io's extra attack speed does not benefit him as well as, say, other heroes that attack slower. But there's a lot of heroes that could go with it. We'll see what EG comes to right now. And the Beastmaster is the other hero that has been banned as well. Probably wanting to stop that strat of a lot of attacks.
You know, I'm thinking we are going back to the point in the first game where we talk about Navi going for this 4-1 draft, and usually you want to have heroes that can actually lock down specific targets when the team is running a 4-1 strategy. Only one hero is very strong at dealing damage, so something like a Void could come in handy for Universe to lock him down, especially with the relocate.
Have we seen Universe Axe at all? Is that...
I want to say no, but let me confirm.
I don't feel like there's been much Axe from EG in general, but...
They had an axe. It was a mid axe against Big God. They lost. They had an axe versus Hellraiser. They lost.
Oh, wow.
They're not doing very well with axe.
One of the few teams.
Yeah.
This year's done reasonably well.
Yep. But we do see the axe, and we're going to see what comes with the axe. There's a potential Lycan going on there as well. There's going to be the Juggernaut. Spin Lords, Spin Doctors. Pretty safe picks.
Wow, this is very good versus melee cost.
Yes.
Yeah, and
one of the things about the Tiny Wisp is that Cleave ignores armor. So essentially, unless you are... as long as you're not focusing the axe, you're going to hurt him a lot. Even if he calls... I mean, of course, if he calls you, then you're going to be attacking him, of course. But no matter how much armor you build, Cleave bypasses armor entirely, which is a nice thing.
So you would want to ban Magnus right now, if you're EG?
It would be a safe ban, definitely. I would say a month ago, you would say you probably want to ban the Ogre Magi as well. Because that Bloodlust on Tiny is pretty good.
Super power that Tiny. I mean, even just today, the Beastmaster, which is already banned, though, out from EG.
Yep.
So, we'll see what they have in store. The Wisp Tiny, I imagine the Tiny is going to be the Havost hero. Question is, does it mix up their lane? So they do it for the Wisp Tiny mid? Do they just do it safe lane? I know a lot of teams were actually giving Cloud9 the Wisp Tiny just because they would never run it mid.
I actually remember watching Dandy play the Tiny once or twice before when they actually run this, and Hovos would be on a safe lane tempo control hero or off lane. There was one game he was playing Centaur off lane because they were having Wisp and Tony. So
I remember Dandy playing the Wisp.
The mid Wisp.
The mid Wisp.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was different, that's for sure, and the only one that actually experimented with that. But certainly it's a couple picks that forces EG to focus the draft in an entire different way right now. And something interesting about Navi is that they are banning the AA, they're banning the Dazzle, these heroes that stop you from healing a lot and help your team heal as well. So I'm wondering what's coming right now from them. These picks, even though they target the IO in itself, seems to indicate that Navi has something in store this time.
At the moment, EG needs they kind of need supports that are able to deal with the relocate. Like Disruptor is one of the few that could do it, but I don't think I remember seeing EG actually run this sort of support. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Witch
Bruno?
Doctor?
Yeah, Witch Doctor seems more likely.
Yeah, Witch Doctor seems more likely for
Even
them.
Lion, like they have the
Yeah,
Lion has not come up
Lion
all this
goes
series.
very well with Axe. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
I think Lion's good at just bursting down the Wisp in general too. AUI's played a few games of Lion.
No Disruptor, right? Bruno?
No, they played Disruptor once against Navi, the last matchup. They lost with it. And against Tiny Wisp, they're 2-1. They won versus Cloud9 and HGT. They lost 2, surprise, surprise, Navi on their previous match, just recently, of course. So there is a Lich ban coming from EG, and now the second picking phase starts. EG will either pick their third core right now or start thinking about their supports. We were talking about the Witch Doctor, how it's a good pick. Lion is also pretty decent, but they're gonna go with the Earthshaker.
Another good way of dealing with the relocate and the Tiny in general, all the disables, you can burst down the IO when they come in. Just all in all, a very handy support against the Wisp Tiny.
You know what's a little bit scary about the Earthshaker when you're playing Tiny? The way Craggy Exterior works, you don't really need to attack.
You need to turn off auto attack though.
Even with the auto attack off, sometimes it happens.
Okay.
Or at least it happened to me. Maybe I'm just crazy, but or enough. That's also a possibility. But there is this real possibility that you blink to the Tiny and you suddenly get stunned for whatever reason before.
I remember that happened to FY.
Yeah,
I saw it happen to FY. It was very unfortunate.
So it's minor. It used to be a problem even with when the Wisp used to stun with the tether, because people would blink into the tether.
That was very very OP.
Oh yeah.
Yes. But that's not the case anymore. Tether no longer a stun. It's just attack speed and movement speed slow. Speaking of tether, do you think it's kind of worthless to level tether up right now?
Yeah.
Generally, yes.
Generally, it's not. It's just a good spell at level 1.
Yeah.
Scaling, you don't really need the scaling from the longer duration of the disable or sort of semi-disable it gives you. So
unless you're Cloud9 in a base race against LGD, then you do need the extra duration.
Right.
That was like one of those few cases where it
Oh,
kind of
wow.
mattered.
this is a very very strong Tide Hunter plus Tiny, and I just feel like the Magnus is so strong right now. Magnus, Tide Hunter, and Tiny. It's a draft that is very reminiscent of the first game, how Navi ran their cores and hovers on a very big carry hero, very big melee carry hero with the Magnus. And this round, I got this feeling that it can actually work well again for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Another hero that we haven't seen. I'm sorry, I sometimes focus on the heroes that we don't see anymore, kind of. Not because I think they're going to pick them, but rather to make a point that sometimes fads come and go and heroes are forgotten, but not necessarily because of their weak. Viper would be a very nice hero again, because he can kite Juggernaut, he can kite the Axe, he benefits from building a mech and just having the Wisp around.
We actually, like, during the games I casted with Mr. Parker here, we talked about how much that we felt that Viper could be a good hero against Troll especially, and Juggernaut type of heroes. But this game EG is going to go for the Sumail Storm. Very hard to catch.
Oh!
Well, Bane is actually a very good hero against Storm Spirit. I think this is a very good pick, and the Nightmare can be used defensively against Omni Slash.
Yes, that is true.
It's the Go Black special.
This is the Go Black special, yes. Go Black special, definitely.
He must be jumping out of his seat at this moment, like, oh, I finally get to
Nightmare
pull the Bane.
into relocate. Good way of initiating as well.
Yep, that is
I have
true.
to say.
Everything that the Bane does is pretty amazing against these kind of
And
teams.
Feeble against Juggernaut.
And Feeble
If
against
he gets the
Juggernaut.
levels.
Just sleep against the Axe. You zone him out before he can actually blink and get in your face. And Finn's Grip is a great way to stop Storm Spirit in the track. Of course, he will have to worry about the Earthshaker's long distance stuns. But all in all, it's a very good support.
Yeah, I agree. I think this game could very well be a game where we can potentially see the Bane making a lot of plays that actually win his team a team fight or save a teammate, like with Nightmare, which also will result into a team fight won by Navi.
What a difference between the first game where PPD drafted everything super fast and this game where he's almost out of reserve time.
Is this the first Bane pick of the tournament as well?
No, it's a second.
Okay. Alright, so second time we've seen Go Black pick up the Bane. The EG ban on Troll, I think, was really important here. Something that Battle Trance with Tiny is pretty scary.
Black Hole versus Relocate.
Aha.
There we go. I talked about this like before even game 1. I thought we'd maybe see some greedy Enigma, but instead the teams were going for the Chen. This is a hero which can be at least dealt with the Fiends group when he gets a BKB, but...
A very tasty Rubik game if you want to run Rubik.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like...
Well, you don't really have to support. It's
Dendi Rubik mid. There we go.
It's Dendi's
Let's see the Dendi Rubik.
Ball Lightning,
please.
Ball Lightning, Fissure, Omni Slash, Black Hole.
Just safe lane farm the Rubik. Give Wiz Tiny mid, safe lane farm Rubik. Give him a fast Ag Scepter, you know, Midas Ags, or forget the Midas, just go straight Ags.
It's going to be a Queen of Pain, which I really like. Queen of Pain bypasses the spin from Juggernaut, does pretty well against Storm Spirit in the mid lane. It's going to get a lot of rotations, and just the mobility will help against the Earthshaker.
Yeah, and the other thing I feel good about this pick is you won't have the same situation when game 2 Dendi suffered because there's a Chen. And this game, having a jungling Enigma doesn't help the Storm too much against the Corp. And Storm generally struggles the first few levels against Corp. And what happened to Dendi that game was he couldn't showcase what the hero was designed for to win the lane. He just got wrecked in the lane against Tinker. This game, more or less, we can actually be more positive about the draft that the Corp would actually have a good time and would be able to get her job done this game in the lane.
This also looks like the first game where an Axe may not have a very good time. He's not going to have a support with him, most likely. He's not going to get a favorable lane unless they send him safe lane solo.
Enigma can actually help him in the first wave.
Yeah, and Earthshaker Fissure, they can block it to his tower. So he should be able to at least get XP, but as far as getting farm and getting a reasonable time Blink Dagger, very difficult.
So Navi is going to head into this game 3. I'm going to Clash versus EG. Both teams having a very clear draft. EG more oriented towards these big team fight spells. There's the Earthshaker, there's the Black Hole from the Enigma. Navi, they can team fight, they can split push, a little bit more versatile, but let's go to the experts, the casters of this game. SUNSfan, syndereN, it's all yours and good luck.
He called me an expert.
I was I was going to make that joke. But you took it already.
All right, so we might have a level 1
as long
engagement
as we agree it's
here,
a joke. Okay.
so we might have to wait. No, we're good. Let's go over EG Weapus on camera. EG's good team to go over right now.
Weapons.
There we go. That's a good point. All right.
Excellent.
Oh, he doesn't have a headset at all. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, well, let's just do our best. Samael on his Storm Spear, one of the 5 heroes we've seen him play this tournament. Universum playing the Axe. PPD on the support Earthshaker. Looks like he can hear me. Fear playing the Juggernaut and AUI 2000, which I will be calling Owie on Enigma.
And for Navi, it looks like it's going to be Funnick onto Tidehunter. Goblak will be playing as Bane. Toward the top rune, it's going to be the trio of Kvust on Tiny, Dendi on Quap, and Vanscore on Io. So
yeah.
Looks like we might have a fight for the rune.
No rune battle. Both are going to Navi. Does this give them a 100% win rate?
Not
Is that what it does?
Oh,
I would actually like to see stats on that. Teams
the
that
win
get
rate for
both
getting
runes.
patterns.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I mean, that's not you can't underrate that rune too much.
I think it might be like a very slight lead. Maybe like 52% win rate over teams that
Are you
don't get
surprised they
bonuses.
didn't try for it? I mean, Juggernaut and Enigma together. Well, Enigma has to get Malefice in that case, and that's terrible.
I think they could have taken the bottom rune maybe, but the thing is they wanted to use the Shaker for exactly what the panel was talking about. He fissured the top wave. It's going to give Universe a really good start in this lane, into a decent position. He'll be playing against Quap, by the way, so Navi electing to put Io Tiny together in the mid lane against the Storm, which should put him under a bit of pressure, but honestly, when you're playing a Storm against... So against the Quap, they had like no kill potential, right? That's almost impossible. But against Tiny Io, they might be able to get away with it with a good fissure at the right time, blocking them off, for example, or rotation from Enigma and Shaker at the same time. So I actually think EG are fairly happy with this, although, of course, it is going to put Fear in a really bad position
Oh, wow.
in the bottom.
Nice Berserker's Call by Universe. Only spins once, though, and that's truly unfortunate. Any melee hero going against a Quap is going to be hell on earth because Shadow Strike was buffed beyond
Not
all
Brood Mother.
recognition. Okay, fine. That's one melee.
Not Darkseer, who's going to creep skip. You got any more?
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
No, you're the one naming them. What do you mean, do I have any more? What the hell is that?
I take the obvious ones and then I put you under pressure.
God, I can't think of any. Okay, 95% of melee heroes struggle
about
against
right.
Queen of Pain, okay?
I
mean, Shadow Strike lasts for 15 seconds. If you level up all the way, it's a 4-second cooldown, and I don't know what you do in that case. Aoi going to be jungling away with his little babies, aka Eidolons. Doesn't have the cool cosmetic, so as a result is not a top-tier Enigma at the end of the day, which is truly unfortunate. Somebody needs to send him that bad boy. Hits level 3 really early, actually.
I think this is par, right? 2 minutes on Radiant?
It just seems really good.
I think so.
Not a jungling expert, however. Avalanche is going to connect us.
Oh, that's first blood. Oh, never mind.
Boy.
Got excited over nothing. Here we go.
Well, if he had gotten the combo, I think it would have been first blood. So
Yeah,
it would have
it
been double the Avalanche. I think that definitely would have been enough, in fact. Did he just cancel the health pot from Storm?
Yeah.
All right.
So
he's out of regen.
using Toss to remove a salve after it's 1/3 through, I think is worth it for Host. Mana is not that big of an issue for Tiny when he's playing with IO. Else you need to be pretty conservative with your mana, but you can cast fairly freely when you're in this kind of lane. So that's all good for them. I'm kind of surprised to see Sumail prioritizing Boots over Bottle. I get where he's coming from because he doesn't want to get caught by the Tiny, and Boots is going to allow him to keep his distance, but ultimately he'll be forced back to base since he doesn't have the Bottle. And this is kind of a...
Well, as a result, PPD is going to get
delayed.
some levels, and that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, we're talking about a PPD that I feel like, correct me if you think I'm wrong here, which you're not going to because you're awesome, but as far as supports, I feel like PPD gets less farm than a normal team support would. And it's unfortunate that in this case he's playing an Earthshaker who is super item dependent as far as getting that first, well, I guess arcane boost to some degree, but more the Blink Dagger.
Only the Blink. You can play without Blink, and you can play with Soul Ring, and you can play with Arcanes, and it totally depends on what start you get off to. So in that sense, yes, it's item dependent for mid-game with the Blink, but in the super early game, it's really a selfless support. So it has those two stages that I think it fits PPD as a player very well. His Shaker was very impressive the last couple of times I saw it, so I have pretty high hopes for some good Shaker plays, and they obviously picked it for the recall, for the relocate counter. So we'll see
what
if
do you
he's
think
able to.
about bottom lane? Well, now that's turning into a 1v1. It was a Juggernaut and tied with a Bane Elemental, who will now be in the forest. I think he's going for the rune at bottom. But do they have any kill potential onto Juggernaut at all with the Bane tied?
Not really. The reason they
It sounds
put
like
this
a tough lane to get a kill.
Yeah, the reason they put this lane was just to deny Fear farm, and they've done okay. I'm actually surprised with how much Fear has, as Sumail's going to take a little bit of a beating, and so is Fust. So, okay, with how Na'Vi planned out these lanes, I don't think they're winning them enough. So they're playing against an Enigma jungle, which means the farming advantage will be going to EG as far as the supports go. Their tied Bane lane, which should arguably shut down Jugger really hard. You can Enfeeble, you have Anchor Smash, and then he has literally 0 damage.
Oh, they're committing onto Sumail, or
that's
are
not
they?
happening.
Fissure's going to split the uprights. Actually blocks Khvost in. But they're not
Look
going
at
to go any
Fear.
further.
He actually has higher farm than Funnig on the Tide. This is the most surprising thing of this game so far for me. In addition to Sumail being on par with the Tiny.
What level is Funny?
Only the Axe is really suffering, as he should. Dendi is winning his lane to the extent I would have expected. Pretty much more than doubling up the Axe, 2.5 times his farm pretty much, going 2 points
At any
to
point,
Shadow
do you
Strike.
just transition Axe out of there somewhere else? I mean, obviously, normally you put him back in the jungle if he's not getting much, but Enigma's in there right now. I mean, the way this is going, you could actually put somebody in the opposing jungle, and Na'Vi would still have a hard time threatening them.
I think as long as Universe is getting pretty much full XP, you want to keep your lanes. Then I think this is more effective overall. Like you said, else it's going to be Enigma and X sharing the jungle. What they could do is they could rotate Aoi top and play the X jungle if they want to prioritize his farm, but I think they want the mech more than anything. Fisher for PPD. Oh, that's
no.
not the right side.
Would that have been enough for the kill? I don't think so.
Possibly. Io had 2 bottle charges. No,
Yeah,
that's
the
not
bottle for the win. No hero can abuse the bottle more than Wisp. Although, Kunkka, I would put second place. Speaking of him, where the hell has that hero been?
Yeah, good question.
God, that hero's so fun. That's probably a top 10 hero as far as entertainment value.
Yeah, I would agree.
They need to... Well, they
And
did buff him, too.
I
That's
don't
the weird
really
thing.
think he needs a buff. To be honest with you, he's one of the unpicked heroes that I have the least reasoning for why he hasn't been used at all. He can definitely still be
Are you
pulled
sure
out.
it's not Coddle Ags mid?
That's number 1, obviously. That joke is never gonna stop. That's gonna stick with me for the rest of my days.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That means Coddle gets mentioned a lot. Love Coddle, guys. He
True.
gets a little bonus
Shout out to
points for it.
Coddle Guy for being awesome and holding the fort for BTS2
Yeah.
back in the group stage.
I want to point something out we haven't talked about either. when EG play against IO, their approach to the game seems to be to have the safe lane carry be good against relocate. We saw them the other day with a Luna, which was super effective. That was against Cloud9, I think. They ran them over that game. They had a Luna. Sumail went out of control on Storm, which, by the way, is also picked this game against IO. So there seems to be a pretty clear-cut counterplay for EG.
The entire lineup is actually amazing against Wisp, Tiny, Relocate. Literally all 5 of them.
That's what they built it for. Simply that.
They knew that they were going to pick them, and they just counterpicked.
IO was first pick. Overall first pick, right?
Yeah.
Or was it X?
So. I believe it was Wisp.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive.
IO was the overall first pick. So they're just building their entire lineup.
Go for a kill here. Regen rune on Sumail. It's already activated. Here he comes. Can he dodge the avalanche? He does.
Wow.
Go back in, though.
He didn't commit for that. Surprising.
He's going to keep the regen going.
PPD was right behind him with a fissure.
Yeah, Khavos is completely out of mana. There's nothing in Electric Vortex, though, so that's
that would
issue.
explain it. This is Sumail's. He built the same way in the last game we saw of him, which is very unusual to build like this long-range
Nightmare. Khavos is going to get a full combo. Here comes the fissure. It's a little bit too late, but Sumail not quite dead. He's going to go on to Goblik. The Sonic Wave coming to effect, taking out the Wisp. Oh my god, Khavos gets black holed. Universe is very close to dying. The toss will finally finish him off. It is a 3-for-1 exchange. The Sonic Wave basically only taking out the axe, and somehow the Storm Spirit lives on as Goblik is now affected by Malefice. Can they dive any further? Sumail, no mana, no HP. They're going to let him live.
Sick play by Sumail. He dodged the Sonic Wave by jumping just behind Dendi with the Ball Lightning. Does not get touched by it. As a result, they get a 3-for-1. Good Black Hole from Maui as well. He only got one target, but that's still... In that situation, you want to go for that single target Black Hole if you can. And yeah, EG off to a good start. Also Universe in the right place at the right time. He has TP'd in, he's ready there with the call. No Blink Dagger available. Still gets a 2-person call with a great Fissure setup. They just baited that very nicely and off to a good start as Na'Vi thought they could get an easy one.
What does Aoi get on Enigma? Do you think... I mean, BKB is pretty damn good. The only thing that goes through is Bane's ult, and looks like it's going to be a mech first. But do you think a BKB is definitely in the cards, as Queen of Pain's going to get Axe?
He was farming the hard camp, and Dendi has this lane ward, so he saw the movement of Universe going in there and is able to find him easily. I would say Enigma in this game, you get mech. It's extremely good for the team, and then after that, BKB. Yeah, I think so. That's probably the best choice overall.
And I think the only way to really counteract that is for...
either Fiend Script or Toss.
Oh, that's true. Well, Toss is
super unreliable.
Yeah. But I think a Blink Dagger is going to be needed on Bane at some point if you want to try to get semi-reliable Fiend's Grips. As Sumail's going to run into Goblik, but zip away to safety. Goblik not quite level 6 yet. And looking at the net worth, Sumail is on top, but Dendi's not too far behind. And it's just so weird seeing Juggernaut. I know it's been like this for about a month and a half to 2 months now, the way Juggernaut's been played, but Blade Fury is almost like not even a skill. It's just used for magic immunity and nothing. It's like not used for kills anymore. It's so weird.
Yeah, the only team I recall seeing in this tournament skilling it was, or leveling it up was Vici Gaming when they played IO Jugger. And they got a lot out of it because he could stay on his target very easily, and they got some kills in lane because he leveled it up. So it's not completely forgotten, but this build has definitely taken over for the hardcore.
We've seen a lot of people get stats over finishing Blade Fury, and the cooldown just gets drastically reduced.
Yeah.
So it's just strange. But Sumail's going to get another regen. And of course, no better hero to have it than that Storm Spirit.
And I want to say, in all of the Dota 2 games I've watched, I think I have never seen any other Storm Spirit player go this build. And he's done it twice in a row now. No point in Electric Vortex at level 8. Most Storms skill it either at level... So you get Remnant first, and then you get Overload. That's pretty much the approach. Right. Then after that, some players get Electric Vortex once or twice, or you level up the Overload. But generally, when you're level 6, every other player has a point in Vortex, because that's what allows you to hold people in place and get the gank going. Sumail is relying on maximum damage output and very little control, but the bonus he gets out of not using Vortex is that he doesn't get slowed. And that's something people often forget, is when you use Vortex, you get slowed yourself.
AUI blocked Sumail, so the regen didn't continue. How dare he? I wonder what Blitz thinks about that build. I'm sure somebody's asked him. I'm not sure what his opinion is. As Dendi now
he's going to be like, as a 7K player myself.
As a 7K player, I have to disagree with the build of Sumail.
I have reached 7K and I have never built it this way.
Oh, he's built some crazy stuff on Storm, so I would be shocked if that's not the case. But PPD, now level 6, has the Echo Slam to work with. It's going to be placing a ward on the Roshan Cliff, if you will.
He's going to see Funnick farming this.
Yeah.
And as a result, he's going to do nothing about it.
I don't know what he can possibly do, honestly.
He could walk in and try to last hit one of the creeps and then die.
Yeah, he could sacrifice his life for one ancient creep, which is still not guaranteed.
Worth.
Definitely worth it. Funnick picks up a Blink Dagger on its way via the courier. Not shortly, because Goblek was using it. How dare he? The 5 should never use the courier over Tidehunter. Is what he's saying right now. Chavos going... Looks like he's going Ags first, unless that's the casual point booster into drums or something like that, but it might be the casual bracer instead, syndereN.
Yeah, I don't think this is when you upgrade the drums. The Tiny needs to get more farm, and the Ags is easily the quickest way of ramping it up. As we talked about, great counters on EG for relocate. They also have good Tiny counters. They have Berserker's Call, the Storm to take out the IO, which means in a lot of cases Tiny will be left to his own devices. There is Juggernaut is fairly good against him too with Omni Slash, so he has quite some... he needs to cover some ground in this game, and Ags is definitely the way. I would be very surprised.
Once he gets that Ags, he's probably going to... Well, they're going to want to get some tier 1s, but for the most part, they're just going to be taking out stacks, I imagine, until he gets a little beefier. Because just going for straight Ags, he's not going to have a whole lot of attack speed to work with. And Owie taking out a nice stack here for himself. He's level 10 at the moment. Finishes the mech Mask of Madness on to Fear's Juggernaut, the Juggernaut. As he is now bottom lane, accompanied by PPD. Uh-oh, Fissure's going to block him off. Omni Slash enough to finish off the poor Bane. And Goblek playing Sacrificial Lamb.
For the tower.
For the tower. Well, kind of.
Relocate
top. Universe on the run. Avalanche. Oh, it's not going to happen. He actually tosses a creep. He's going to eat up the Wisp Balls because they taste so delicious. AUI. No Blink Dagger, any sorts of initiation possibilities. If only Tiny was on his team, that would be just a dream come true.
I've never thought of IO Spirits that way before.
What?
Flying candy. Nom nom nom.
Well, he literally ate them, so
yeah, well,
they were delicious.
Speaking of X, by the way, this is going to be a late blink for Universe. He's been sacrificed quite a bit this game. Of course, the payoff has been Enigma getting great farm. The Juggernaut has been doing pretty well in lane as well. He's at 80 CS minute 14, which is really good considering the lane he had. So EG with a weakness right now, not having that blink, but doesn't seem like they need it to force down this tower. Navi just not interested in contesting, which is slightly surprising. They have Ravage, they have IO Tiny, obviously relocate used, but might still be able to fight. And I guess the reason is Dendy's bottom without TP ready, so they'll be fighting without their level 2 Sonic, and that's kind of a problem.
Yep. Well, I almost said Chavos because I'm so used to him playing Juggernaut, but Fear with the level 2 Omni Slash to work with this Smoke on EG with the 4 members at the top rune area. Funnick, of course, does have his Ravage to work with, so this Smoke may not be a good idea. As Ogre Club now picked up by Chavos, he is about 1,700 away from finishing that full Ags. And Dendy still, I mean, not that this is horrible timing, but you typically see Dendy finishing an Orchid around the 15, 16 minute mark.
Yeah, that sounds
But last
right.
game it was like 24 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And this game doesn't seem to be that close.
This is going to be better, though. He'll have it sub 20 for sure. He'll probably have it 18 or 19, which is still a fairly decent time with treads and only 1 kill. The super fast Orchids you're used to seeing at like minute 11 sometimes is with boots only. And treads is I mean, after all, it's about another 1,000 gold invested, so it's okay. I think he's on par with what he should be now. He still has 90 CS minute 15 for the mid laner, which is perfectly okay. And let's see, how far away is that Orchid? About 700.
How effective do you think Orchid's going to be this game? So you have an Enigma who inevitably will be going for a BKB, so that's not really going to be a target of choice once that is picked up.
You want to Orchid the Storm.
Is a huge target. Does he go Lincolns or anything to that? I mean, this is Sumail we're talking about, so I highly doubt that's going to be the case.
So he's going to go Yules.
Yeah. What do you think about Yules on Storm Spirit? Let's just assume.
Or okay, so I think there's a couple of reasons why Yules isn't good. It's good against the Orchid, but it's not good against Fiend's Grip, which is still a pretty good counter. It can be good against Ravage if you're really quick, but else if he gets caught by any of those or a tiny Avalanche toss, he will not be able to use the Yules, whereas the Lincolns could change that situation quite a bit. He will be getting the Orchid first, obviously, as to play aggressively. And oh god, I love seeing Tiny with level 1 grow and Ags. It just looks hilarious.
It looks better without the grow, though. But yeah, that just shows how fast how much he prioritized the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah. It shows how few kills he got as well.
Yeah, that is true.
I think this is the second time this tournament I've seen a level 10 Tiny with Ags. We're used to seeing level 11 because Tiny IO just has a history of getting a lot of kills early, and those kills generally yield more experience than gold.
Where does
well, there we
PPD
go.
find time to
Still
farm this Blink Dagger? We just see one picked up by Universe on the Axe. Typically speaking, when you have an Earthshaker this is a 5 right now. Somebody typically will leave some open space for him to end up just finding something for himself. But
I don't think
this lineup is super greedy, and I don't think that's going to be the case. So just from tower kills?
I also don't even think he needs Blink until minute like 40. I know it sounds...
Can he get it by minute 40?
That's a question, but... It sounds kind of strange when you pick a Shaker that you should deliberately not go for the Blink. Of course, if he can get it, he will, right? But consider it a luxury item this game, because his absolutely main priority is Fissure on IO Tiny. If he can get that every single fight, it's fine. The Echo Slam is a bonus, and that they can set up with either Blink Call from Axe. I mean, he's not the only initiator, right? There's Blink Call from Axe, there's BKB on Enigma coming somewhere down the line. He's already working on it. Storm can also open with the Orchid, and even Juggernaut can start the fight by running in an Omni Slashing. So I think giving
I believe
the
Orchid is done on Dendy. Sumail is going to zip out. And he's going to be fine. So Smoke ends up not working as Universe can initiate onto Khavos, but here comes Vanscore. Believe he's going to relocate Khavos out of here.
Oh, that
and away he goes.
Just 1 inch off, and Vanscore gets a very nice relocate save. If that Fissure hits, Khavos might die. And instead, he's going to be just safe and coming back in.
He's going to be just safe.
Just safe. No more than that.
All right.
But
it's pretty good.
All right, no, nothing more. Oh, he's also getting healed. That's right.
We didn't. I know the panel talked about this, but what do you think about Bane in this game? Actually, against all these stuns,
I am not as big
this
of a
almost
fan of
feels
it.
like the Warlock. I don't want to go there, but
so I'm not as big fan of it because I think on paper the hero can be really good, but at the same time I just feel like the number of counters on EG is going to make it hard for Goblik. He needs really great positioning, and granted he gets that. He can counter out Storm fairly well. And he supposedly should have also been good in lane against Juggernaut, which I still feel like they didn't win that lane enough.
You know what would have been a good pick is Lich.
He was banned. He was banned.
Oh, he was definitely banned?
Yeah, he was banned in second phase by EG.
Okay.
So
that's probably what they wanted.
They had the same idea.
What else did what other supports are available? The Vengeful Spirit, I'm sure, was banned.
Oh god, I can't remember. But
Lion
was banned too, I think. Lion was banned by
I'm thinking about things that will stun through... They could have gone Warlock, actually, to stun through Enigma Black Hole.
Why didn't they do that? Okay, so the reason I'm a little bit skeptical about Bane is Storm can now just jump on him and solo him, always, as long as he doesn't get caught in a Ravage, which he has the potential to counterplay that as well. Fissure is a really long-range disable to stop Fiend's Grip. Enigma, when he gets a Blink, will also counter it out nicely, and even Axe with Blink Call. Like the positioning requirements for Bane are really high, but if he can meet them, he can do a really good job. It's still just... It's one of those cases where a hero looks great on paper, but there's just so many things to worry about that he might not be able to get. I mean, we haven't seen a Fiend Script yet, right?
Nope, I don't believe so.
Minute 20. Still waiting for
one of those games. Have we even seen a Ravage yet? I don't think so.
Also not.
I mean, we haven't seen any team fights at all. I mean, there's only 6 kills in this game, and speaking of Tidehunter, he's working on the Refresher Orb. Still a long ways off, but the fact that we're talking about that now just means that he's getting decent farm overall. I mean, obviously the Blink Dagger hasn't even been used to any effect yet, that I can remember at least. Both teams seem pretty content with just farming. And who does that really benefit, do you think?
Tiny will out-farm them, probably.
Dandy gets Orchided, and then Berserker's called. Culling Blade to follow, I'm sure, is boom! He drops to the deck.
And he also didn't get the rune. Sumail got that. And this is classic EG. Turn a key kill into a Roche if possible. Fear is going to go in. They do have Healing Ward level 3. Like seeing that a lot, that he has leveled it up this much.
Nice Remnant giving some vision for Sumail. Fear going to 1v1 Roche for now. But Phonics still has... Oh, here we have the toss. Goblik's on the cliff. He's silenced and just gets destroyed by Sumail. Can't even get off the Fiend's Grip, so we have more initiation as Vanscore's in the midst of things. There's the Ravage doing decent amount of damage, but that is 4 dead for Na'Vi, and Tiny in all likelihood will die. They even used the Black Hole just to ensure and to save Sumail's life. Definitely a good choice. They get a team wipe, they lose Axe, they get a Roche. Pretty damn good trade for EG.
Extremely good Blink call by Universe. He finds 3 targets next to each other, sets up the nice and easy kill on the Wisp. Quick reactions from Sumail as well, sees the toss coming in. His positioning, I think, well, so Na'Vi knew he was up there, right, because of this ward, else they can't do the toss. But as the smoke breaks here, so Sumail can actually see them from up on the cliff, and he sees the toss animation come in. So he instantly reacts by jumping down, orchiding up, and jumping up again. So that sequence of plays, this allows Goblik from if he has precast the Fiend Script, he will instantly, or he has the short cast animation, but he will get in on Storm.
Yeah.
He he cancels the animation because he jumps. So Goblak needs to click it again. While he's clicking it, he's down and he's untargetable. He jumps up again, orchids him, takes him down solo, and by jumping up, he also stays out the range of the Tiny. Just beautiful play.
I was going to say something, and I forgot what I was going to say because you're just so smart.
Because it was so beautiful.
Damn, what was I going to say? Shoot.
Probably nothing important.
I know it's nothing important because it's coming from my mouth, but... See, you see what happens when I'm self-deprecating? It makes you feel bad about yourself.
I know.
Do you feel bad about yourself?
Not really, actually.
Okay,
I'm okay.
never mind. You're just a terrible person then.
Because I know you bait me like that.
I'm going to take out a double.
You've played too much and it doesn't work anymore.
Okay, that's true. He has the Hyperstone, so Assault Cuirass in all likelihood will be the choice for him. And the farm in all likelihood will start going way up. But AUI, I'm surprised he's not done with BKB, actually. Unless it's on the courier or something like that.
I think
it's on the courier.
Good call.
There we go. Good stuff. All right, you talk for a second, and I'm
Okay.
going to think about what I was going to say. It was good.
Okay, so Na'Vi are top of the last hit charts with Tiny. I think he might be atop the... Let's see, the net worth too? No, he's actually...
Okay, I thought I was going to say.
Did you get it?
Kind of. Well,
Okay.
I just wanted to bring up a point about Cloud9 and EG. How would you agree with this, that they're really good at taking Roches? And
yeah.
the only difference between...
And Secret too.
Yeah, and well, a lot of the Western teams, I guess. But something I've noticed with Cloud9 is a lot of times they prioritize Aegis on a not-so-good Aegis carry. We saw a lot of Lycan Aegises today, and I mean, I know sometimes you have to do it because he's the biggest farmer on your team. He does the most damage, but it's just very underwhelming a lot of the times. And here we're seeing EG with a perfect hero to take advantage of Aegis. Storm, probably the best hero in the game, unless you can think of somebody else.
He is
And
easily top 3 at least.
If they can use it to full effect, this will be huge for EG. And this is one of the reasons they're so successful. They can actually take advantage of having an Aegis, or a cheese for that matter, from taking Roshan. I mean, like you said, they take full advantage of just getting one kill and then go into Roshan, and then end up team wiping in that case. Man, look at the pennant difference. That is did they stop doing pennants or something? It's only 5,000 for each. That is crazy. Compared to 23,000. Wow. I just noticed that.
I just think the pennants were made a much bigger deal out of during TI2. That's when they were really talked about. That's when they were really purchased. I think they might have been...
Volvo rework pennants.
I think they might not be sold in... I can't remember, though. I honestly don't know this for sure. But Na'Vi is historically just the Western team during TI1 and TI2. And that's when this was introduced and became a big deal back then. But
Yeah. Agreed. Fear has the ultimate orb. Is he going for a Scotty?
Oh, and it's also 4 in the morning, as someone yells. 4 in the morning US West time, and 7 in the morning US East, and of course a majority of EG fans probably American. So
yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
They're not going to get up at these hours to watch their team.
Great fans they are.
Yeah. Way to support your team.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And it looks like this tier 1's going to go the way of Na'Vi. EG. There's a TP here, though, and it's from Enigma. Does he have a blink? He has Malefice. No, he doesn't have. He has the BKB. And here comes the Storm Spirit onto Chavos. Vanscore, are you going to take him out in time? Here he goes. He's popping out. But here's the Black Hole on 2. Here's Dendi. Oh, my God. And the Bane gets destroyed. BKB pop for AUI. Phonics to be able to get out. A tier 1 for... It's going to end up being 3 kills in all likelihood with this poor Vanscore Io. I mean, that's the role you play. As a triple kill for Universe.
It's just Bane again, right? I don't think Goblak's positioning was that poor, but he was in vision. And then there's so many counters. He gets the grip, instant Blink Call. This is pretty difficult playing Bane in, honestly.
It is a difficult game.
I don't really feel like he's playing that poorly. It's just
it's like
very
one
hard.
of those we talked about with Bone 7 picking the Legion or having Legion Commander pick for him. That game in particular is just not a good Legion Commander game. It's just feeling the same for Bane, which is really unfortunate because the rest of their lineup, I mean, sure they countered the Wisp Tiny relocate a lot, but that's not their whole team composition.
No.
Especially with Tidehunter or Funnick farming quite well on the Tidehunter as well.
But yeah, I would agree with your reasoning. I think people are going a little bit overboard on the Bone 7 hate train, because to me, a lot of the games... Okay, granted, he has not performed as well as we're used to seeing. I will agree with that. He has been underperforming based to his standard. But the extent that people are saying he's underperforming, I think has a lot to do with the drafting. And the moment... If he gets put, first of all, on heroes that need to perform but have a hard lane, that combination is really scary, right? A hero like Legion Commander is really bad at playing from behind, and then he gets put on a lane he can't win. Those kind of games are extremely hard to shine, and even when you get your Blink Dagger, you're so far behind the direction the game is going in that I mean, you can get a Blink Duel if you just die. What are you going to do 30 minutes in with a Blink Dagger, right?
Yeah.
So at the same time, he's also playing on a team that take a lot of farm. So finding a way back when you have Eternal Envy farming a hell of a lot, as well as even Fata is also one of the has oriented himself towards farming a lot on his mid heroes. It's a kind of a nasty composition. However, for Na'Vi, Godlike is picking for himself, so he is putting himself in these Marcher positions that I think he prefers. But that's just a lot easier if you're playing a hero like Abaddon, who has level 6 ultimate, or has ultimate level 6, and then you can, like, even if you're underfarmed, you can still get your spells off because there's no counter. If you're playing a hero like Treant, you can do a lot without even being exposed in the fight. Bane, different story.
I mean, on paper, like you talked about, Bane with 3 CC abilities, essentially, if you can consider Enfeeble kind of like that, just crippling a carry. It's just, you have to get the spells off. In this game, it's next to impossible. But Blink Dagger now, on the lighter side of things for EG, Blink Dagger picked up on the Enigma, and this is going to be dirty once this black hole is up. But of course, they do know that the Blink Dagger's up, so assuming that they're going to try to counteract it. As Tiny working on BKB. I mean, Khavos is still the top farmer in the game, but the problem is the distribution, if you look at the net worth, is not even close. It's just hugely in EG's favor. It's just top-heavy for Na'Vi at the moment. Is the smoke now in place? And actually, PPD, he's going to get a Blink Dagger soon if he doesn't die in the next 30 seconds.
The smoke from Na'Vi.
100 gold away.
Have we seen a Ravage yet?
Yeah, we've seen a Ravage.
One.
Yes.
Okay.
I think one. Pretty sure.
Oh yeah, we had one at the fight at the Roche Pit, right?
Yeah.
There must have been one.
No, I know for that one for sure. I'm just trying to think if there's a second one. I don't think so, though. But now with
28 minutes,
Earthshaker, this is going to be dirty. This is going to be so disgusting if he can hide this Blink Dagger and just wait for the initiation possibility. Or just waiting for Na'Vi to initiate first, if even need be. It's Tidehunter now. He's getting closer to Refresher, just needs to finish the Perseverance with another couple hundred gold, but then, unfortunately, 1,800 away from the recipe itself.
Looks like it's go time for EG. They're all relaying mid. They're going to port in PPD.
They're relaying big time.
They have one unknown Blink for Na'Vi. They do the one on Enigma they should have seen by now. Aoi has been in vision a couple of times, but the one on Shaker is going to catch them by surprise, I think, like you said.
We'll see if he ends up using it. He's going to use the Fissure first. They probably haven't seen the Khavos. He's going to get Berserker Call, being forced out completely, and Wisp takes him home. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, they're just baiting it out.
By the way, you saw that the Wisp Blink thing was fixed today, right?
Yep.
So it was a bug. It did say fixed.
Yeah.
It didn't say changed. As Scotty complete
They fixed
now.
it from good but intended to non-existent.
Yeah, okay. We can go with that, I guess. Samael, Bloodstone, going for BKB now. And what does Na'Vi need to do? They have really good teamfight potential, obviously. The problem is EG has even better, I would say.
They need to play with confidence. I think if the Tide doesn't blink Ravage before the BKB on Enigma comes out, they can't win the fight. They have to be the ones opening, and they need to just go in, fully believe in their strategy, and just find the kind of opening they need. Just a 2 or 3 man Ravage should be enough. He doesn't need that extremely good 4 or 5 man one.
Oh, we're going to have initiation on a Khavos. Can Vanscore take him out? There's no ult, though, and Fear even just pops him in 2 hits. And Khavos takes a black hole for himself. Yes, you're that important. He doesn't have a buyback. 60 seconds, he'll be dead. And with this, EG in all likelihood will push or go for Roche, which I don't think is up for another minute or so.
Yeah, about
they want to force this buyout, which isn't there.
They get a lane of Rax if they play this as aggressive as possible, I think. They should still be a little bit cautious, as there is a Ravage and a Sonic Wave, so if they're not full HP, they can't go up. They have Healing Ward level 4.
Oh, Echo Slam on Danny!
Oh
my god, the burst damage is out of control. 60 seconds, he's dead, no buyback. Okay, that hurt. That hurt me deep down inside.
Yeah.
That Echo Slam.
And that's a really smart play in hindsight, actually, here from EG, because there is no way Dendi would expect that to happen. He's lost 2 teammates that don't have buyback. He's going to expect EG to run 4 heroes down mid and take the tower. Instead, they split 2-2. They send 2 heroes top to kill off Dendi, and they still get the push done. The main pushing hero, Juggernaut, is still in the mid lane. He's going to be hitting barracks. This is probably a full lane, unless they can mount some sort of incredible
Ravage is online,
defense.
but yeah, Tiny comes back in about 3 seconds. Quap, another 30, though. Some
they might actually only get the range checks.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's going to Blade Fury, get some nice little clicks in between. As a result, we'll dodged the avalanche completely. Khavos pops his BKB. Black Hole's not up. Ravage is going to hit basically everybody on EG, and the right clicks will be enough to take out the Universe. But the chase continues, and EG just overpowering. Although Khavos still right-clicking with a lot of damage. Double kill for Fear, and a counter double kill from Khavos. But there's just way too much lockdown. Malefice, everything being used. Fear takes a toss.
Oh, nice play by Khavos
Khavos will
staying
actually
alive.
live at the end of the day. Dandy gets a nice Orchid into a Sonic Wave.
Hit the healing
The
ward.
healing ward doing quite a bit. Fear very slow. Here comes the Enchant Totem into a Malefice, into a Fissure, into the right clicks. This is going to be enough to take out Dandy with the crit Fear. Oh my goodness. I don't know if they can continue this without healing ward. So they'll probably back this up. And Roche is up though.
Man, this is just not Dandy's day. That's pretty rough.
It just seems like every time he blinks in, he just gets perma-stunned.
Again, Fiend's Grip channeled for literally less than half a
I
second.
didn't even see it.
He used it, instant blink call.
Is that the first cast all game too?
He just snap calls it. No, he's cast it 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
You
okay.
just don't see it. It's
Yeah.
it's that fast. Like,
Wait, does he have Enfeeble leveled right now?
yes, 2
Okay.
points. I think he used it for the laning stage, and I don't think he's really cast it after that. Oh, Sumail.
Well,
Easy.
nothing much to say about that.
Too
Oh,
easy for
Kavoso.
some easy.
Pursuing Sumail, still has some mana to zip out. He's just baiting. Universe has the blink.
Kavos cannot
He wants to
afford
go
to die
for
here.
Vanscore. BKB popped by Khavos. He gets the avalanche. Vanscore's going to try to take him back.
Yeah, he's going to have to. Maybe. Sumail.
Well,
I said it
meanwhile,
first.
Fear just roaching. And Khavos, no, he does get sent back. Even the Echo Slam is used. That's pretty big, but alas, it is the Roshan taken out, and Fear will get an Aegis all for himself. And
All right.
Vanscore, can he get this
I'm going to
tether
give you
off?
odds 1 million to 1 that Mayo dies. Oh, you
I'll
didn't get
take
time
it.
to bet.
I'll take it. I'll take whatever the odds are.
1 million
live.
to 1. You owe me, how much did you bet?
Nothing.
$1? You owe me $1 millionth dollar.
$1 million.
I expect to see it on my PayPal
I don't
momentarily.
have that much. Sorry.
$1 millionth dollar?
I don't have a millionth of a dollar
Damn.
because it doesn't exist. Storm. Shit. Sumail.
You can round up to
We don't
7.
want to look at the graphs, Weapus. This is just disgusting. But BKB now at Sumail, he can go even deeper if he wants to. Khavos' BKB, what is that at now? Like 6 seconds? 7 seconds right now?
Yeah. And he hasn't really got much out of it. He had to use, all the times he used it correctly.
He's been more in a defensive manner. For the
I
most
can't
part.
really put a finger on his tiny play this game. I think he's been playing exactly like he needed to. The draft just hasn't enabled him at all. EG are just playing around with them, and they're never getting the team fight they're looking for.
I haven't talked about Universe at all, but he is super duper farmed. Has the Vanguard going for BKB. Blade Mail has been there a long time. And his initiations have been very spot on as well. As Owie jumps in with the Malefice. Fear just going to right click, takes an avalanche to the face, however.
He does have the Aegis.
Yeah, Aegis
So
on
he doesn't
Fear,
afraid of
healing ward,
anything.
level 4, level up. There we go, Onyx with a nice initiation. They're trying to blow up the Enigma. He has Black Hole's going to be on 2. Both Funnick and Kavos being caught completely as Dandy pops the BKB as well. Omnislash being used along with Sumail just taking out Wisp with no problem. 3 dead, 4 dead, a buyback now on Tiny. And this looks like the beginning of the end for Na'Vi as they might drop to the lower bracket as EG on the cusp of winning this series 2-1. They're going to get 2 racks.
Nope, they're leaving that one. Okay.
They thought about that. Like, oh, okay. Well, this top lane now.
Style points
In
for
all
faking.
likelihood, that would have been so bad manner if they just left it. And I don't think there's anything Na'Vi can do to defend this with the Aegis still intact for Fear. Another very well executed game for EG, I have to say. And this is going to be mega creeps.
If they get the third lane, yeah.
Damn it. I thought they had that lane for some reason. It doesn't matter. Oh, here we go. Initiation. Universe pops the blame. Khavos gets a really fast BKB, but the jump in by Sumail just blows up Dendy. Barely gets out in time. Khavos gets a melee relocate. He's going to live to see another day. Dendy might not be so lucky. Is they going to die? Fear pops the Manta. Still has the Aegis, remember. And Owie just adding to his item list with a Shiva's Guard. Oh my goodness, this is disgusting. Funnick does not have Ravage yet. As the toss onto a creep. Fear looks like he'll fall.
Are you calling Fear a creep? Oh.
Universe pops the Blade Mail. Sumail BKB going for Vanscore. Vanscore does not have relocate. He's going to fall to the right clicks of Sumail either way. And Khavos, that's the 5-second BKB. It is down, and he will fall to the right clicks yet again. And GG's come out. 28-5. EG just dominated this
Under
game.
attack.
They really make that. They made that IO seem totally useless.
That's one of. I feel like that's one of the few games that it's felt like Wisp has been just. There's nothing they can do, and it's like we said, it has to do with the draft at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But execution was there for EG. You got to give them a lot of credit.
Every single pick on EG's lineup shut down the IO. Bane never really got to do anything. On paper, a cool pick. They couldn't really make it work. He ends up being rewarded -1 fantasy point for his efforts.
Wait,
I mean,
not to. Okay. What did he get on Warlock? Do we know? Fantasy
I
points.
think he got more than one because he got 1, 7, and 2. This game he goes 0, 7, and 2, and they got destroyed even harder. I
Okay.
think. But
Can you think of anything off the top of your head other than the ones that we mentioned that would have been better than Bane? I mean, you can probably name a lot, but like specifically to try to cancel Black Hole, if that's even what you're going for.
So what? How did they lane it? They put Bane together with Tide off lane. Maybe something like a Skywrath could have potentially worked against some of their heroes. I mean, an earlier counter to the Storm, a way of dealing with, but I can't remember the pick order, so it's a little difficult to say. Maybe some of the reasons I give for Sky weren't
We
even
need
there.
instant
3 heroes
replay
from
again.
EG did not die that game. Bonus info.
Yeah.
And Universe died 4 out of 5 times. So
Well, he is Axe and a Beast of Burden, as Half-Life is now. I said Half-Life. That's the Half-Life intro. It's
Yeah.
fine. All right, so that pretty much does it for this series. Can I get some info? Who does Na'Vi play in the lower bracket now? Anybody? Anybody in here?
they can probably talk about that on the panel.
All right, they'll talk about that in the panel. My name is SUNSfan Joe, my syndereN. Back to you guys at the desk. Enjoy.
They play HGT.
Okay. Bye.
Great.
And EG manages to turn it around. A game that seemed very, very close until one point that Russian fight ended up in a complete team by from Na'Vi and everything went downhill from there. What were your impressions of the game, Winter?
Like you said, I think it was a really close game, and it would come down to the point where who actually got the bigger Ravage or the bigger Black Hole or the crucial, like in the Roshan fight. I think the most crucial thing that happened there was Universe on the Axe. He actually managed to find, even though he didn't kill the Tide during the fight, but he managed to delay the Ravage, which could actually potentially came in a timely fashion to help and save Horus. So I think that play was actually the biggest play from Universe the whole game. After that fight, the whole game totally fall apart for Na'Vi. They were just struggling after that, finding farm from, like, Dandy didn't even have good farm, like he kept dying in team fights. After the BKB was on the Enigma, it was just basically really hard to team fight as Na'Vi against that sort of lineup.
In the same team fight, there was a questionable move by Hevos by tossing Goblack into the the Storm Spirit, and that cost Goblack's life pretty much immediately. After that, Goblack, Vanscore, and Fanic proceeded to go combined in 0-18.
Oh.
Is this just a bad game from Na'Vi or just great execution from EG?
It was good execution from EG. It was a really tough game to play Bane. I think Bane was a nice counter to EG's draft. Just EG also had a lot of good long-range initiation. The Storm, Ball Lightning to catch heroes. They had the Blink Axe. He couldn't get a Fiend script the entire game. So I think the pick, you could definitely see the reasoning behind it, but the execution was not there.
And with that, Na'Vi is going to go to the lower bracket. EG is going to advance to the winner bracket semifinals. They're going to face Big Gods, and that is going to be a match that I want to watch because these two teams, very, very well, top 4 in the group stage. Big God won convincingly versus Cloud9. EG, they lost one game to Na'Vi, but they seem super strong right now. And Na'Vi is going to go and play Hyper Glory team, a team which, in paper, is something that Na'Vi can beat. But I see, Gods, you're kind of like hesitating. What do you have to say about it?
About the Big God EG?
No, about the Na'Vi HGT.
Oh, Na'Vi HGT. I don't know. I don't think you can count HGT out. I think they're a team that didn't live up to the expectations during the qualifiers, perhaps, and even here in the group stage, but they've got a lot of just veteran players. I mean, ZSMJ, the most veteran of Dota players as far as what he's accomplished back in the Dota 1 days, and just very stable core plays as well. Like Air in the mid lane, very solid, doesn't really have any weaknesses. He doesn't always shine, but I feel like HGT is not going to be an easy matchup, especially in a BO1. So they also have a lot of hero overlap. There's a lot of Jug and Troll coming out from HET as well. So I'm really curious to see how the draft pans out. HET have also been running a lot of Chen, so I feel that's a much closer series than you may expect.
Okay, that sounds great. We're going to go into a break, guys, now, but when we come back, we have the final series of the day. It's going to be the last best of 3 of the winner bracket. Wow, Vici Gaming versus Hellraisers. And that is a very important match, because if Hellraisers win, that means there's going to be necessarily a Western team in the winner brackets final. That is to say, a Western team confirmed top 3. If Vici Gaming wins, which granted they're the favorite, they could advance and have a very favorable bracket, but they would have to face Secret in the next round. So that is going to be very interesting to see. After the break, we come back with Hellraisers versus Vici Gaming. See you in a bit.